Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 15th day of August, 2024. Well, it's raining on the high desert, which is always nice, especially now that the hay's up and gone. Don't have to worry about that getting wet. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to pull a rune here from the Elder Futhark bag to get us started for the above side of things. For the significator runes. Grab my hair, take my hair with it. We have Sawillo. We haven't had that in a little while. Sawillo is the 16th rune of the Elder Futhark. So you're looking at a 7 numerology, and you can see it's an as above, so below rune with the above and below here. It's really Kenaz hooked together there, skewed, both forward and reversed. And if you'll remember, Kenaz is the torch or the light of spirit. It's the rune of, it's basically illumination, clarity, revelation, healing, well-being. And that's also going to make up what Sawillo is all about. It's the rune of the will. Again, energy, self-confidence, healing, higher self, illumination, the link between spirit and form, so hence the above and below aspect of the rune. Let's go ahead and see what the Geomancy rune is going to be. I'll throw down the 4 elemental runes here. And I'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. There's fire. Where's air? That's earth. That's water. Oh, well, we have a Missio, which is what we had on Monday. If you were here on Monday, I kind of linked that reading to, here is a Missio. It's loss or decrease of something. I linked it to the reading the Thursday before, which was the Lionsgate reading. So we'll see. And I said that maybe we'll take a different turn, but Amicio seems to be linking us here, maybe to Monday's reading. But let's just see. A decrease of maybe, or a loss of self-confidence here maybe today. Less self-confidence today than maybe you might have had on Monday. We'll see, though. Let's take a look at what the cards have to say, and I'll shuffle just a little bit more, and we'll see what the details are. Now, on Monday, I ended up with 4 major arcana cards. We had Justice, the Magician, and Death, and so higher self-influence throughout the whole reading, really, especially with Othala. But we'll see what this is going to be like today. If we'll do the same thing where we're drawing all major arcana cards. Major arcana cards are soul archetype cards. No, we just have one though today. We have the Hermit. So I'll be putting that up. I'll talk about that first and put it up when I do the picture of it to put over on the blog at Stepping Aside. I'll have the Hermit slightly above the other 2 in the center. But we have one from each of the groupings in the tarot. We have one from the Court, the Page of Swords, again the Hermit, from the Major Arcana, and then we have the 5 of Pentacles. So we have air and earth represented in the reading today. Also, the fire element with Sawillo. So we'll see here. With Sawillo, it can also mean maybe, and when you're linking it to the Page of Swords, maybe a message that has to do with moving forward in a self-confident way. It could be that. Maybe with a Missio. Well, I mean, when you're looking at the 5 of Pentacles, though, that's loss, and so there could be some disturbance there, for you today. But let's start with the Hermit. And the Hermit is card 9 from the major arcana, you see the cloaked figure of an older man on the top of on a mountaintop, basically on a snowy peak. He's holding a staff in one hand, his left hand, and he's holding a lighted lantern in his right. And you can see there in the center of the lantern there, that's the Merkaba, or the soul vehicle. So he's gotten above everything. He's retreated. He's withdrawn from the world below, in a sense, to sort of discover what his inner voice has to say, or what higher self has to say, to discover divine wisdom. So it's basically about listening to your own silent counsel, and higher self informing you as to what answers you're looking for. So there's an element of going within, there's an element of retreat and withdrawal to understand the bigger message of things. And so there could be something in terms of especially with Sawillo, where, given that it also means illumination and having spirit inform your perceptions and the bigger picture and all of that, it could be that you need to retreat to be able to achieve that. It's not going to happen when you're in the midst of something. So if something's going on today, it could have to do with that, where you just need to take a step back and kind of engage your own silent counsel, your own inner voice, let higher self inform you as to what's really going on, what you really need to be focusing on, and before you come back to making any kind of decisions. With the Page of Swords, you have, now again, swords is the air element, so this is your intellect. And now this could be a message. Pages are always they're always students. It could also be, I tend to link them with the Fool and the Ace, and then the Page, having to do with undeveloped potential. Given that the Page is a student, there's always more to learn. And here it almost looks like the wind is appearing to blow the trees there and blowing the clouds of deception away from the Page. The Page seems to be leaning into the future with an eye to the past, looking toward the past. Well, that way, looking toward the past. And but the intention is to move forward. But bringing with the Page whatever the Page has learned thus far. And again, when you're getting above it all, you're taking into account what's been going on, what the truth of the matter has been, and trying to then assess from there what it is you need to do about it. It's almost like I saw this card is interesting because it's almost like the ground is moving under his feet. So there's almost an implication of things are changing quickly. So being sure of where you've come from to then apply that learning to where you're going. Again, while getting above it all and taking your own silent counsel from higher self, trying to understand as much as possible before you make a decision about something today. And we could have maybe started with this card instead of the Page and ended with the Page, but here there's been a big change in circumstances here. You see two people sort of leaned into the snow that's falling, snow on the ground. Looks like this one here has a bandaged foot, bandaged head. They're not dressed for the cold. This one has a very tattered, looks like a thin blanket around that person here, the taller person. They seem to be walking by a church. You can tell by the stained glass windows. Or window there. You see 5 pentagrams or pentacles right there in the window, and it's arranged in order, so it's not haphazard. It's almost like it's one of those serving trays that you have little dishes on where you can serve candy or whatever on it. The way they're connected there, you can see the connection to each one of them here. But 5 is about change. It's about protection. It's about innovation and variety, freedom versus restriction. And generally speaking, when you see the Five of Pentacles, it means something's changed in terms of your material security. They really appear destitute, like they've lost their home or something, and they've been through it. Maybe they were in some kind of accident, but something significant has changed with this card here. And so to be able to deal with whatever this is today, and again, with a missio being the loss or decrease of something, maybe circumstances with respect to your home or your job, or just a feeling of material security. There could be something health related, where something's happened and changed and you need to deal with it. And you want to do that from a place of enlightenment and not fear. You want to do that by drawing spirit into your awareness so that you understand the whole picture involved, not just the immediate details of something. It seems like there's something that's a little bit more involved here. I think I want to take one more card and see if we can get just a little bit more information here. But again, you have to realize too that you have information already. You have some level of understanding with the Page of Swords here about things that from your past that can maybe help guide your decisions here with whatever has changed in your life. That there is help there. Now, just because they're not walking in through a doorway, that you don't see a doorway in the Five, doesn't mean that there isn't one somewhere. And so if you need assistance from somebody, that it's suggesting that it's actually there, that there's compassion on the other side of the wall there, of the building, of the church possibly, or if it's not a church, it's some other type of assistance that you might be able to get to help you deal with whatever's happened today or over the last few days. I'm going to take the 13th card. So it's completely random. Yeah, I mean, it says you've got to make a decision here with the two. You're kind of juggling some things here in terms of your material security. So we have another card from Pentacles here. And again, Pentacles is the earth element. And so it's everything about your physicality, your home, your career, your education, your health, everything to do with the physical incarnation into life. And given that they're represented by coins, typically we talk about material security of some kind. And so you're having to juggle something here because something has obviously changed, and you need to be very clear in and turn your back to the emotions. You see the dual line here, and again, we've talked about that. Unless this is your first time here and you haven't heard me say this, I'll just say it very quickly. In some of the cards of the tarot in the Rider-Waite, you will see this dual line that separates one thing from another. And so here he's got his back to the basically wavy water, but big waves there. You see a couple of boats on there. And he's got to make a decision between one thing or another as to what he needs to do. So it's almost like he's juggling some things here because he looks like a juggler. He's standing on one foot while the other leg is kind of raised a little bit. And you see the big lemnis gate there, the figure 8, almost looks like gears. But again, he has to make a decision about what's going to happen here and what direction he needs to go in order to preserve that material security. So there could be some kind of change, maybe a change in jobs. Again, this suggests some kind of health issue. When you see the foot bandaged here and the head bandaged, and this foot here on this person looks bandaged too, but this guy actually looks wounded. So something has happened in your personal life that has caused some change that's significant, and there is assistance there for you, support there for you in some way, somewhere. There may be legal assistance, there may be social types of assistance. There could be assistance from friends and family, even if it's just somebody to have a listening ear to what you're going through, and maybe it might trigger something with them where they say, well, you might go talk to this person or something like that to get some advice. as to what to do and what direction to go. Maybe you just need a safe port in the storm, for just a bit. It could be something like that. But you can't forget that all is not lost, because you take with you what you've learned in the past. You go within and you get above everything and away from the chaos, so that you're not being solely influenced by that. And again, with the Two of Pentacles here, you're turning your back to the emotional turmoil that you might be feeling, and you need to make some kind of a decision that's practical and less emotional. So that would be, and I'm trying to keep this general because it'd be all kinds of things, really. Before we go any further here, though, let's go ahead and do the numerology. Now, we said 16 was the, and before I actually do this, let me say something again about the 16. That reduces to 7. So you're looking at observation again, also with that, with the Hermit card. But it's the observation from the soul perspective instead of the reactive ego perspective. And also with that, you're looking at balance, justice, legal issues. So there, maybe there is a legal solution to what your problem is today. Again, I want to keep it general because it might not be anything really bad. It just could be that there's been something that's changed and you need to figure it out. And you need to realize that you do have more experience than you. It's like you get caught up in the moment, right? And you're freaking out about whatever. And you forget that, hey, you know what? I actually might have some memory of some other things I've dealt with or learned or heard about that I really might have some resources there that I need to remember and bring that into the decision-making process, but also allowing higher self to inform all of it so that you're not getting caught up in some impulsive reaction to something that really, if you just take a moment, to think about it and to seek some counsel maybe about it, some advice from somebody else, a trusted mentor, a family member, a friend, or some other type of agency or legal situation, you might be able to discover the decision that you need to make. And you're going to find that you're going to make the right decision that's more pragmatic instead of emotional, not letting the emotional side of things grab onto you and keep you. And instead, you want to have a little more rational, with the air element. You want it to be a little more rational. You want it to be more higher self involved. And, you don't want to get so caught up in the moment of it that you can't really see anything. You can't see the forest for the trees or the sky for the snow in this case. But let's go ahead and we've got 16. Let me do that again in case I already hit the plus sign. 16 plus, the page doesn't have a number, plus 9 for the Hermit, plus 5 for the 5, and plus 2. That gets to 32. 3 and 2 is 5. So again, it indicates that there's a change that's happened and you need to deal with it. And you need to keep emotion out of it. You need to get away from it all so that you can look at things more objectively, without the impulsiveness of the ego getting in the way of the decision that you need to make. And so regardless of what that is, it seems to center on your personal life, either your home or your job or your health or education or something that has to do with the earth element. The earth element is also about being grounded. And again, you're being grounded in something that's practical and pragmatic instead of in something that's orderly. It's a very 4 numerology, basically. The idea of the 4, which is structure and foundation and being grounded and taking your strength from something that's practical and responsible and dependable, versus reacting all over the place and feeling like it's so overwhelmed that you just don't know what to do. But the 5 of Pentacles suggests that there's a change in circumstances, and again, you got to get above it all to really make the best decision possible, and weigh things out in a way that's practical and keeping the emotion out of it. So I guess that's it. We did that quickly here, didn't we? sometimes the things just flow and I don't really need to think too much about it because they just sort of nicely dovetail together. So, but again, I hope it's not something too serious, but at the same time, know that resources are there, even from your own past experience, and don't rule anything out at this point. And again, if there's a trusted mentor or somebody that you go to that seems to always have good answers and can see things maybe that you don't, go to that person and get their input on what's going on and run it past them and see what they think and see if there's something there that resonates for you. At minimum, they may just be able to refer you to somebody that can really help with the situation. And so not all is lost. There's things you can do. But at the same time, it looks like it's a definite change, especially with the numerology of the whole reading coming back down to 5 as well, indicating that there's a change in circumstances where maybe you need to protect yourself a little bit here. But again, it doesn't seem to be hopeless either. So if that resonates for you today or over the next few days, just think about this and again, don't let ego get in the way of it or emotion get in the way of it. Step outside all of it, get above it all like the hermit's doing, and let the light of spirit illuminate your path forward. So anyhow, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more below the video and a window will open, and it's right there at the top. Everywhere else I am on social media and where all the other places I publish my work on is down below at the bottom. So check me if you like reading medium. If you're a medium reader, I'm over there. Substack as well. It's called Witch Notes, or it's under my name, Jan Erickson. Patreon, again, it's under my name. Those are 3 other places that I publish my work on. Look for the new stuff for next week to come out on the blog in the midnight hour on Sunday morning. And if you haven't yet clicked subscribe here, I'd love you to do that. And come back on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.